Hey friends, I got a question for you. Do you ever not tell people about your dreams because you're afraid that if they don't come true, everybody will know you don't have faith in your dreams? It's tricky, right? Because it hasn't happened yet, so it's not reality. And so it's easier to believe in the fact that it's never going to happen because you could expect that. What do you do when you really, really want something and there's belief involved? Do you keep it to yourself? Well, today I've decided to share. I got a big old thing, guys. A big old thing that is challenging every ounce of my belief. And I'm going to share it today with you. Good morning. This is Leaning In with Ann, live Monday through Thursday. I get on and I talk about all sorts of things that are going on in my world, things that are put into my heart by God to just speak about that day, musings, rumblings. I'm an external processor. And so I externally process here sometimes because it works. It works to just talk to myself on a little cell phone as I'm walking in the morning, doing my hot girl walk. 5 to 7 miles a day is what I do. There was a thing on TikTok a little while ago called the hot girl walk. And let me tell you about hot girl walking. What it is you just jump up, get your shoes on, and go for a walk. It's not a run, it's not cardio, it's just a walk. And while you do it, you sit. You don't sit, you walk, and you contemplate with God, you pray, listen to something that's inspiring and uplifting, and go home and have your day. Think about all the things you're grateful for. All the blessings you have. Be inspired. Pray. Hot girl walk. Let's talk about this idea of belief, claiming a belief, having everybody know that you've got a belief. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes our dreams are private. And you need to keep them private. Why? Because there's too many naysayers out there. People who are afraid of dreaming themselves, and so they don't listen to your dreams. And what they actually do, they think they're helping. You know these people. They think they're helping you by saying, well, don't get your hopes up. That might just have you thought about, okay, but did you know that? Okay, I'm going to put a ban on all of those things right now. None of you get to say that to me. I'm going to share anyway. Some of you are going to think I'm ridiculous. It's okay. I'm good with that because before I started dreaming about this, I took it to God. It's because it all started with a phone call, one that I did not want to receive. So a little background. In the past 16 years, I have moved 7 times. Okay, so I want you to calculate out that for just a minute. It is between every 2 to 3 years. We had a longer stint in Pennsylvania. That was a 5-year stint, but in Virginia we had a 1.5 years. Average, every 2 to 3 years, I have to move. Did you know that there's grief involved in moving? That you literally go through a grief process. So I'm going to just tell you about these moves, then we'll get on to the phone call. Well, I'll give you the phone call first. I got a phone call that said the landlord wants to sell the house. And so your lease is up at the end of June. Let me tell you why this triggers me. Okay, let's go to 2007. That move, so excited about that move. That move, I was getting out of a little teeny tiny townhouse in the hood. It was not a great neighborhood. It was not very safe. I did my best for my kids, but it was rough. And I got remarried, and that move for me was so exciting because it's like, I'm gonna upgrade, I'm gonna change my life. For my children, it was super rough. Super, super rough. That had been the only home that they knew. There had been a divorce. They were losing everything. Big time. So the house we got was in a really great neighborhood. It even had a swimming pool. I was a real estate agent. I found exactly what fit. our budget, everything was so great. Okay, then we were renting. I sold my actual house, the only house I've ever owned. I sold that house and had enough money to kind of start over. And so we rented. And a year and a half in, the landlords got divorced. They had been living in Georgia, and the wife says, I'm moving back into my home, so I need you guys out. So the move was on. It's okay. I was going to keep these kids in the exact same school district. Yes, we had to move congregations in our church because it's all done geographically. There's boundaries according to your geography on which congregation you attend. That way the leadership can really minister to you because everybody's not spread out so far. So we did that. We stayed a year and a half. We're only 3 years into this marriage. And in a 15-minute storm, a massive oak tree uprooted and smashed my house, and we were homeless immediately. And that was quite the event for all of us. It was God's way of doing some things I asked for, and my prayers are pretty powerful. I asked him for family unity. We were fighting. It was awful. My kids were at each other, so it's the anger of the grief of the divorce had come up. The schools were beating up my ADHD Asperger's kid to a very, very emotionally damaging place, and it was like the teacher and the principal. It wasn't just the kids. And financially, we had been ruined because of child support issues. The tree hit our house. Insurance money took care of that. Family unity, it turns out when you're in a family crisis, people bind together a little bit better. Didn't really sort it all out, but it definitely helped. And then the mess of my son, totally taken care of. The big problem with that move was that North Carolina, we were in Virginia. My husband's company said, you don't have a house in Virginia, move to North Carolina or you're fired. So I had to take these kids who had already been through tragedy, uprooted, now don't even have a house, move them 5 hours from their dad and that stability, and away from and going into another church congregation. In some ways, it was very, very healing. Especially for me, I escaped all the drama of the reason for the divorce. Nobody around in my whole area knew anything, and I could kind of start over. For my kids, it was rough because they endured, I'm going to call it persecution. There was a Baptist minister that was in the town, and he would preach. We were LDS or Mormon, and he would preach and even hold meetings for the teenagers about what to say to the Mormon kids. And it was awful. Like, they would write, a Mormon sits here on the chalkboard pointing to my kids, or calling them Joe Smith as they'd walk down the hallway, or throwing their religious scriptures, the Book of Mormon, they'd throw it across the room, and would cause all sorts of havoc in that 3 years for my children. Gosh, do you keep hearing it? The children. What a rough, rough ride. What they did learn in that particular move is that, do they believe in what they believe? Do they not believe in what they believe? And they learned how to check in with their own selves. So in some ways that was a really good move. Then I loved it. I was by the beach. Oh my gosh, guys, I am such a sun worshiper. I loved being by the beach. I loved North Carolina in every way. I did. Not my kids. I loved it. And then the company that my husband worked for was bought out by another company, and they said, hey, 28 people just lost their job, but we like you. Move to Pennsylvania. Oh, you lose your job. Notice how I haven't like been in charge of any of these moves. I did not want to move. That one I was grieving pretty seriously about. Moving to Pennsylvania in October from warm North Carolina was not great, especially when 3 feet of snow hit. And I had some major depression. I missed my son. I missed my people. My daughter absolutely loved Pennsylvania. I had one kid that, yay, survived and moved, and she thrived there. It was great. That's when I decided to homeschool my son, because the school started to be stupid again. Jaden was in 5th grade, and I said, I'm not doing this again. pulling you out. Then we stayed there 5 years. That was our longest stint. And I didn't like it. It was the place I didn't like. It was beautiful. I'm glad my kids were happy. And then that's where breast cancer hit. At the same time, I got diagnosed. My first grandbaby was being born out west. And so the plan was, let's move out west as soon as we can. So it took us another few years. But I moved to where I'm at now, the town I'm at now. And then 2 years ago, right about this time, we signed an extension on our lease. The next day, property management calls and says, oh, oops, I wasn't supposed to send that. The landlord wants to move back into their house. You need to move. And I go, oops, so sick of this crap. Signed contract. Can't do anything about it. Well, they did. They forced my hand. We did get a little money out of it. And I envisioned the house that I'm in right now. Like every room. What do I want to feel about this house? What do I want to feel in these rooms? I literally, as I'm walking through the house, what I wrote down a week or several days before I actually found this house. Well, now I get the phone call, right? I'm loving this house, man. It is so great. It's got places for people to come visit me. It's got a kitchen where I can entertain. It's got delineated space where my husband can watch the TV and I can be in the piano room. Oh yeah, we just set up the whole podcast studio in that room. Ah, I have a beautiful walk-in closet. The treadmill fits where everything fits. And I felt like the other day that I had just finally unpacked. I got the phone call. Landlord wants to sell. There's no choice in this. He's going to sell. So we need to either come by and take pictures or something. They said something about this last year. And we said, yeah, let's look into buying it. What do we need to do? And what do we need to do? And they never called us back. They just let us have the lease. So we had a garbage disposal go out and a faucet, and we called them to have them repair it. And I think that's what triggered the landlord going, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I need to sell this house. Are you feeling it? So a year ago, my husband took me to a real estate agent to start talking about the possibilities of where we're going to move. And I'm like, I'm not moving again. I am not moving it. The last move, I felt so forced out of that house, that every ounce of trauma and pissosity, oh my gosh, all of the grief over every single move, because these moves weren't just moves. These were moves to different states. Do you know what that means? That means leaving everything you know, trying to assimilate into not only a new culture, but a new ward family, which is a church congregation, a new rhythm. It was awful. So I had a major meltdown when I did that. This time was different. When the phone call came in, I sat there and I freaked. My heart sunk. I do not want to deal with this right now. Ever have that, you guys? Like you're just going, right? Everything's humming. And then, oh my gosh, okay. This is one reason why people don't want to experience joy. It's because they have this feeling that if as soon as I get comfortable, the shoe's going to drop, right? If there's anybody who knows that feeling, it is me. I fight it with every ounce of my being. So I felt the sink, texted my husband, but I had a weird calm this time. Like a really weird calm. Still felt sick. Don't want to deal with this, but weird. And so I checked in with God and I went, okay, what about? And I wasn't actually in a place to hear him or have a conversation, because guess why? Because I was pissed. It's called pissosity, guys. Really, God? Really? Because I'm doing everything you want me to do. I'm pushing myself. I'm talking. I'm getting up and I'm talking. Because I was going to get up and walk anyway, regardless of whether or not I talked to you, but he said, no, hold this little selfie stick and talk to people as you're walking around. So I'm doing that. And he says, oh, and borrow a bunch of money so you can do a TED Talk. Did that. That's still in the process. Oh, and then let's do a podcast. Ready, set, go. Okay? You ever feel like you're doing all the things and you just can't catch a break? Anybody? I hear you. I know it. I feel it. I fight it. I get mad. Just so you know, me, Miss Positive, Joy Lady. Happens. And I don't make myself wrong for feeling angry or mad. I just go, you know what? Truth is, that sucks. That one sucks. I'm just going to sit and I'm going to be a little fussy right now. And then I'm going to decide what to do. Well, in my fussiness, I created my little new writing corner and go, this is my space. I sat my butt down, nailed some things onto my wall and said, screw it, I'm staying. Well, in the middle of the night, I guess it was Monday or Tuesday of last week, went to bed at 11, slept till 12, woke up wide awake. Went downstairs, pulled out a journal, read a little bit first, and then started writing. And God and I had a conversation because I'm like, you know, there's one thing to say, hey, God, I'll do your will, when he's nudging me into things that make me grow. It is another thing to feel like you're getting beat up by the Lord. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to do this. When can I cop a break with you? Okay, so I just want you to know, even me, with all of my faith and all my happiness and positivity, that's a normal, totally appropriate reaction, by the way. So, we sat there and we talked. And what was weird is he put into my heart this little bit of excitement about the possibility of another house. Like, we don't have a pool. I would love a pool. He, like, every single thing I asked for this last time, man, he gave me. Like, every single thing in this house. And so, you know, I trust him to have my back. So we talked. And I wrote. And I said, what do I need to know? And he says, what would you love? I went, whoa. What? Would you love to stay in the house? Would you love to buy the house? Because the options are this. Either you own a house again and it's yours, or we move and I give you something, again, that you would love. What would you love? This one's up to you. Guys, I don't know what's scarier. Suck it up, buttercup, and do what the Lord says so you can be obedient. Or say, really? What I would love, like I get to say what I would love? And somehow you're going to work it out because we are not in a position to buy right now. Really? And I felt this peaceful, yeah. What would you love? So I thought about both options, and I said, I don't know. I don't know. Can I take a minute? He goes, yep, take a few days. So I've had it in my heart. I've known. Whew. My husband wasn't a huge fan of the house that we're in. The way I found it was without him. I think he felt kind of forced and pushed. It's been great for us. But I knew that. I knew that he and I needed to talk because no matter what I want, we've got to be on the same page. And I don't want to force him. What does he want? Not that I'm going to give up what I want. I don't even know what I want. Rough, right? So the other day, I finally did it. I said, we need to sit down, we need to talk. I have got this low level of resistance, defiance, and screw you feeling in me. Screw you. It's kind of the universe right now. Just screw you. I don't even care anymore. Anybody else ever get that? So I sat with it. I was driving over to Target and I felt it. It's like, screw you. Nobody gets to tell me what to do. It's like a rebel thing. And I went, wow, I'm really, really feeling this pretty strongly. Who am I trying to screw? What is this? And I realized that there was a little bit of trauma that was going on from our last move with the property management and some things that happened with Tom and that. And so Saturday we sat down and I said, we need to talk about this, and what would you love? What do you want? And then I kind of explained some things. I don't want to pack up again. I don't want the disruption of boxes everywhere. I don't want the sorting through all my crap to see what I'm going to take, what I'm not going to take. That grief for 3 months before I even move, and then the 6 months after that to get my feet under me. I don't want that. Do I want him to be upset about being in this house? Feeling like he's stuck? No. So I expressed some of my stuff and I said, what do you feel? Guys, I am so glad that he and I have done this feelings jar thing. That we've learned how to speak what we feel without making it somebody else's responsibility to do anything about. See, when he speaks what he feels about this house, I'm not going, oh, well, I can't believe, I just told you everything that I wanted. I can't believe that you're not supporting me. It actually wasn't that. I'm like, I'm curious. All I can do is share with you what I feel. What do you feel? Then we can get to some kind of ground. And he said, I don't want to move. Because I had just been looking at rentals and things, and my heart was sick to my stomach as I looked at the rentals. Sick. The thought of it made me sick, and I went, oh. So what I want is to stay where I am at. What would I love? I would love to stay where I'm at. Yeah, there's excitement about going and looking for another house. I just know. I feel horrible inside when I think of it. And what's in front of me is a feeling of impossibility of buying this house. It's kind of a Red Sea moment, right? Where you're stuck on one end and the bad guys are coming. Up against the Red Sea. Egyptians are coming to get me. Hey, Lord. What do we do? I will tell you that when my husband said, I don't want to move, it did something really cool in me. Really cool. I don't want to move. Made it feel like we were on the same page. So he's done some mindset work. Leslie Householder from a company called Rare Faith has a program called Mindset Mastery. It really helps you know how to hold your mind in the right place so that doubt and fear and crap can't squash your dreams. And Tom took Mindset Mastery. So we're on the same page a little bit. And I said, hey, are you ready to do the work? He goes, what do you mean the work? And I go, the Mindset Mastery work. Are you ready to envision? So one of the ways to envision, guys, just so you know, connecting to your vision is to see it done. What seeing it done is what does it look like when you're past this thing and you are experiencing the life that you desire the most? What does that look like? And I asked him, and he's not a talker, he's an internal processor, not external. So I just sat there, not knowing what he was thinking or feeling. And then he said, well, I guess what I see is you painting the walls. Oh my gosh, that was so good. There's a color of the house that we had in North Carolina. There's this beautiful sage green that is just my calming color. Like it's beautiful. I love it. It brings me peace. And in this house and the house before, I wasn't able to paint anything that color. And I wanted to. I love that. I could see myself up in the corner on a ladder, him buying the paint and me painting. I went, oh my gosh, I'm seeing it done. I love that. And then he said something about the pool out back. And I said, yeah. I said, you want to go outside and dream with me? So we walked outside and we looked, and I said, how big's the pool? I go, where is it? I go, is it on this side or is it on this side? And he goes, I'm seeing it over there. I go, yeah, I am too. I go, we don't need a lot of yard because we don't have a lot of kids around. Yep, I can see about there. He goes, the first stupid thing I'm going to do is fix that lamppost out front, because we've got a lamppost. All the neighborhoods have a lamppost, and our landlord won't fix ours. So it drives him crazy because it looks dilapidated. And he's like an aesthetic guy. And so it's driving him nuts. And I'm like, he's on it. So he went in the house. I stayed and looked at the backyard for a minute, envisioning the pool, seeing where it came out to. I could see the gradient going into the pool and the deep end on that other side. I could envision changing this place that I was on a little bit so that the patio works a little bit better, to put some outdoor, like a bench and a couch and a table and stuff, you know. And I went into the house and I said, what would be different in me if this house were mine? Like if I owned this? Because what I am, I'm a professional renter. Like, we are very careful about not putting a lot of things on the walls as far as nail holes. I don't put vinyl up. I don't. And we keep a house as though it is ours. Like, the way that we treat the property is like it's ours. But it's not. And I always know, think about this, for 15 years, I've known that where I am is temporary. It's been 16 years. I've known it's temporary. What would it be like to own it? To say, this is my house. And I walked in and I looked around and I looked around the kitchen, and then I went we've got these stairs that go up, and I don't know what happened, but I looked up those stairs and it was like it was mine. Like it was mine. And it hit. So I'm meeting with the real estate agent today. And I'm doing everything I can to keep that feeling of this is mine. He just doesn't know it yet. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm going to let the Lord follow through on the promise. The promise is, what do you want? So after I take this walk, I'm going to go and I'm going to sit down with the Lord. I'm going to write, and I'm going to tell him all the things that I want, how this transaction I would love to go down, the feelings that I would love to have. What do I want? Do I want this to be chaotic and stressful and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, and then have the Lord rescue me at the very last hour? No, I don't want that. What would I love? In the hours of 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, he said, it's up to you, dear. Whatever way you want this to go, this one's up to you. I'm going to trust that feeling. So I'm claiming it to you right now, out there, all of you. I do not know how. I feel like we're going to need some help. Don't know what that even means or looks like, other than God. But before I walk in, I'm going to get my feelings on that I own this house. And I'm going to read some scriptures. the ones that really help me, right? It's the ones that say, and the Lord will go before thy face, and he'll be on the right hand and on thy left. He'll open my mouth to say everything I need to say it, and every moment I need to say it. I will envision Tom and I being partners and connected in this house thing. He's beating us up. He's beating not the Lord, but the bully has beaten me up about all sorts of, yeah, but you're a fraud. Yeah, but you're a phony. Yeah, but it's not going to work. Yeah, but bills and all the things. And so I'm going to let you guys witness the fight. I will keep you updated. I ask for prayers. Angels will intervene. Money will come. Opportunities will open up. I mean, there's lots of different opportunities. Owner financing. I don't know that rent to own is in the works, but it's not off the table. Having someone help in other ways, I don't know. There's lots of ways the Lord can do this, and I'm going to keep my hands off about bossing him around. I'm just going to let him be my God, and I'm going to let you guys watch. That's my walk and talk today, guys. What would you love? I'm going to put the things I talk about and I teach into action. You guys know I'm just right there with you. What would you love today? What would you love the Lord to help you with today? That is it, my friends. I will see you. Talk to you later.